Genesis chapter 2, verse number 26. Now, I know you guys are going to say this is kind of cheesy, but it's okay. It'll work. So, Genesis chapter 2, I'm sorry, chapter 1, verse 26, my bad. That's right, that's right. I was looking here at chapter 2, and then over here at 26, and then, no, it's Genesis chapter, and then your Bible, like, does this kind of thing. It says Genesis chapter 2 at the top of the page, and then, but this is all chapter 1. All right, so chapter 1, verse 26, my bad, sorry, guys. All right, so it says, and God said, let us make man in our own image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the air, and over the fowl of the, over the fowl of the sea, and the fish of the air. I looked down and saw air. See, my brain is just not working this morning. Yes. Help me, Lord. All right. Let us make man in our own image, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea. See, my eye went, in my Bible, air is right under fish. And so, again, I almost did it again. The fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female, created he them. And he gives them the command to be fruitful, multiply, and so on and so forth. So I came here for two reasons. One, God made man in his image, okay? And today we're talking about Instagram. It has to do with images, pictures. And I know, like I said, you'll think, oh, that may not apply. But not only did he make us in his own image, but he made us to have dominion over the earth. That does not necessarily, now some people will take the dominion mandate and they'll take it as far as to say, that we as Christians should take dominion over the whole earth, politically, socially, and all that. I don't agree with that. There's a scriptural separation of church and state. But we should lead in things. We should lead in business. We should lead in politics. However, we should keep the proper separation in place. But we should lead in our use of social media as well. As we're talking about glorifying God with social media, whatever medium it is, whatever aspect of social media it is, we ought to lead in using it the right way. I know some brothers I know do photography, and they do really good photography. There's a guy I'm following. I'll show you some pictures of his. It won't be very good looking on the screen, but the guy that I'm following that uses that, he does some really good photography. I think he's a pastor also. And then there's people that just use their Instagram for. Instagram was initially set up for photography, for photographers to share photos that they take and stuff like that. So, but it's kind of like devolved into more of a, basically, here's what I'm doing today. Here's my food. Here's my lunch. Here's my, this or whatever. So, I wanted to, ooh, okay, there's some claims. Trying to get rid of that stuff. So I wanted to introduce you to Instagram, which I don't have on here. Go. No internet connection. Oh, I forgot to connect. Here's what happens when you change the password. Nobody looks. Information changed. I wonder what it is. No. Not it. That's it. See if it works. I forgot because I'm connected direct, hardwire connection on that. Oh, we're connected. Here we go. Now we got stuff popping on flight hours. All right, let's try again. Okay, so Instagram, again, there was a long time where Instagram was pretty much just on the phone. Now they've got a computer thing. There's my wife's post here, recent post, Trump Tower when we were in Chicago. That's a pretty good picture, you know. So I'm going to teach you guys what Instagram is and how to use it and stuff. I'm going to give you some examples of good use, and I'm not going to give you any examples of bad use. You don't need examples of that. Just know that don't use it for pictures that you shouldn't be sharing with people. So Instagram is a public forum. You can set up an account with Instagram as, and remembering, I want to go back to our theme verse of the whole thing. Whether you eat or drink or whatsoever you do all to the glory of God. So everything that we do, we ought to be doing for the glory of God. If we get on social media, it ought to be for the glory of God. What you look at on social media should be for the glory of God. You should not be looking at stuff that God is displeased with. Any of the social media sites that we're talking about, you can get into trouble. You can look at stuff you ought not be looking at. You can defile your mind and conscience. You can do the wrong things. So I want to warn, of course, every time to be careful and don't do stuff that if you don't know anything about it, don't do it. Okay? You just, did you say something? Yeah, that's what I was saying. There you go. So here's the other thing, like he didn't put any hashtags there, but if somebody, that's Brother Ted Alexander. Looks a whole lot nicer on my screen than it does up here, but and it looks even better on the iPhone screen because it's so better. And then people post stuff like this: stress is caused by not fishing enough. Hey, that's a good question. That's Brother Ted. So some people just use it for whatever kind of thing. For ribbing people about their certain whatever, or sharing, hey, this is what we're doing tonight, playing this game. So those are examples. I'm looking for, okay, so here's the guy that I was talking about, takes really good pictures. So see these pictures here? These are all pictures. Some of these he takes with his iPhone. With an iPhone, yes. And some of them, like, let's see, like this picture right here. I don't know if you can tell what that is, but that's a road and like power lines and stuff. It's taken from a drone, and he takes some really nice drone pictures. This one was taken from a drone also. The drone's like that little, quadcopter thing, flies up in the air, and it's got a camera on it. Really high resolution camera, and he takes a picture of what he's seeing there. Good excuse to buy a drone, right? Do photography. Now, I think he does this as a hobby. Yeah, you can get little lens attachments for your phone, and and do stuff like that. Like, see, this one was way up. What's that? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know that you can get a close shot. Yeah. Yeah. So see, I follow this guy. Yeah, my wife likes church buildings like that. I follow this guy because he does really awesome pictures, and I pretty much just like every picture that he posts. I mean, they're just, and you can like them by, on the computer, you can just go to the thing here, and then you just hit the little like button. Oh, it didn't give me the option. Oh, I already liked it right there. Yeah, he's got a lot of hashtags. I don't ever click on hashtags because you never know what you're going to see. There's people use hashtags for all kinds of stuff, and they use them randomly sometimes, and then you find stuff that you're not, it's a matter of, now I said I don't ever, I do sometimes click on hashtags, but I'm very careful about it because you go real easily get from, you know, oh wow, this is kind of cool, to what am I looking at? You know, and so yeah, so I don't recommend clicking on hashtags. Yeah, his name's Aaron Burden. Don't know how I came across him on Instagram, but he's got like 8,399 followers, and that's a pretty good audience. Pretty good audience. Like, and what he does a lot of times is he'll say things. This is just, sometimes he'll post his things and he'll put verses with it. So like here it says Psalm 102. That's a leaf, looks like, or that's a leaf with like ice crystals on it. But he put here Psalm 102, 26 and 27. Sometimes he'll type the whole verse out. Sometimes he just puts a verse on there. So he uses it more subtly in terms of, you know, pointing people to the Bible. So like this one, he's got Psalm 57:1, refuge. You know, those are things that he'll do. And then there's people that use them more, that use Instagram more obviously for ministry. So like, there it is. Like, and not that I agree with everything he does, but he'll do, like he's got a rock concert there that he was at, but I wouldn't be doing that. But anyways, he's an extreme cyclist too, but he posts political and ministry things. In fact, I think that's a picture, not a video. He does like little videos about whatever. Like a lot of times he'll do videos that are ministry related. Yeah, and then he'll do joke stuff like this. Like, I came to give presents to kids and punch heretics, and I just ran out of presents. That's Saint Nick. Saint Nick. You know, that guy actually existed, right? And he was known for hitting a heretic because he said something wrong or whatever. So, anyways, again, not that I agree with everything he does, but like he'll post stuff like little videos where he'll give encouragements and whatever, and answer like what's going on with this, what's going on with that. But anyways, there's an example of that. Let me go back to, here's what I've done, or this is my page. I don't post a whole lot, but I'll post stuff sometimes. You know, I just posted that so that I could use it as my profile picture on my other account. That's my profile picture here. That was like 5 years ago. See, the beard's like this long. The beard's like out of the picture, so you can tell it was a while ago. So and then I've got, you know, verses that I'll come across. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. That's my dog there, this one here. And I said, beware of false prophets which come into you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravening wolves. So, and she's just kind of laying there. I took that picture. She was, what's that? No, she's actually the oldest dog I have right now. This is my youngest dog, little puppy. You can't really see him. I don't know if you can see him very well. This is he's gone. That's Barnabas in the background, but this is the youngest. That's his ears. Can't really see. That's my shoes. He was like coming up to me, and I was like, I'll take a picture of him. So there he is. It's a whole lot better view here. I don't know what kind of angle it looks like, what it looks like from you. That's horrible from your guys' angle. So, yeah, you're fine. You can see it just fine, probably. Now, I've got the glare of the light in my eyes, and you guys probably do too. But so, anyways, I do a lot of these scripture pictures and stuff. And then I did this one Sunday night a while back. Trying to see what I posted. Getting ready for Sunday night preaching service. What's that? Yeah, it was a picture I took when nobody was paying attention. So you're there, and Donnie's there, and you're there, and Travis, and yeah. I thought that guitar looked kind of small. What's that? Yeah, that's my guitar strap on right there. But oh, Donnie, that's a ukulele that he brought. Yeah. So, anyways, these are I use Instagram for multiple things. For what's that? I use it for pictures, like photography type stuff, like it's supposed to be used for, and then I use it for like scripture stuff. And I didn't take these pictures, by the way. I used there's the app, the Bible app that I use has if you tap on the verse, it says image. You tap on that, you can either upload your own image or you can use one of their stock images that they have. And so, like this one's a stock image I used, and then you can put images on there, and then you can post it to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. But what so like this one, I put the cross up on top of the building that I built, and this picture is awesome looking. Can't really see how awesome looking it is on this screen, but on this screen you can. It's just the outside of the church building with the cross and the sky in the background. These I took when I was at when we were at where were we? We were in Gatlinburg. I took these pictures. They were I don't think I had the new phone. This is on my old phone. So this is with an iPhone 6 Plus. So yeah, it was in the mountains in Gatlinburg. So those should have gotten a bunch of likes because they're like really photography photos, but like that one only had 1 like. Yeah, I mean those pictures are awesome. I mean those are really cool pictures. I took them with my iPhone. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. Now I've got the 7, and I can take like the portrait photos, and so it'll do a dynamic zoom and like make it kind of like almost like a 3D. So all this stuff would be more defined and everything, so it'd be more detailed. But still, that's a really good picture if you see it on this screen. I mean, it's pretty cool. So I use it for stuff like that, like this one. You guys remember this? See the picture in the background? That's the guy climbing in the window of our house from the video thing. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven. What's that? Yeah. I just did that just for fun. Posted that. No, it did look like Luke in that picture, but it's not. Right? Yeah. So, yeah, the verse goes with it. So yeah, so I did a lot. I've done a lot of these scripture things. My first time through the Bible last year, I did about 1 or 2 scripture photos every day, and so there's like a bunch of them. But I don't post on Instagram very often. I forget that it's even there a lot of times. So yeah, I only have 943 posts, but that's a lot of posts. But I've been on there for like 7 or 8 years. So some people been on there, 6 months, and they've got twice as many posts as I've got. So, what's that? Get more followers. Wow. What did you do? You follow a bunch of people? That's how you did it. Yeah, I'm only following 45. That's why. I mean, my public profile or my public figure one, I follow a lot more people. But I'll go back to yeah, I only follow 45. On my personal one or private one or whatever, and this one's actually, it is like private. If somebody wants to follow me, that's the other thing. If you have a private one where you share personal stuff and whatever, you can actually lock it down where if somebody wants to follow your photos, they have to ask permission to see them. So if you do that, then that kind of saves you a little bit there. My wife and I both do that, I believe. The problem is if you're doing photography and you want it to be seen, then you either have to set up a separate account for photography and then a private account for yourself. So, you know, if you're, that's one of the things that my wife was having an issue with, because she takes really good pictures often. See her pictures here? Look at those. This was in Chicago in the Cultural Building. These things. Let's see here. What? Where? Maybe something I made. That's the atrium. That's an ugly picture of me. Yeah, that's something. We made it together. This is steak. This is steak chunks from Chipotle. I just heated it up and put spices in it and stuff. And then she made, what's that called? Like couscous or something? It's a couscous. Yeah. It's like a Israeli pasta of some sort or something. So she made that, and so I made something, she made something, we mixed it together. It's not dog food. So then she posts stuff, and there's the final post for Barnabas. There's the kids. I don't know what they're doing. She says, relaxing evenings with the kiddos are the best. She took that when we were on our way up to Chicago, I think. I can't remember when she took that one. Yeah, see? That's what it's for. You know, when people take pictures like that and they're like, wow, that's cool. I'm going to, like, steal that picture. As long as you don't steal it and try to take credit for it. What's that? She took that with her iPhone while we were driving. We were driving down the road, and she's like, oh, a train's coming. Cool. I did a claim up in, where was that? Monticello. And we're on our way up there, and she's like, oh, cool, train's coming. And then Instagram has filters and stuff that you can use. I wonder if I can post something. Let me see if I've got oh, here's a picture of me on a claim. I'm climbing the stairs on a burnt house. It's a burnt down house. She says, I helped Aaron with a fire claim on this bitter cold day, and says that was fun. And Kyle says, I've seen that house before. That was Kyle Kaiser actually was a firefighter that put the fire out. So it had grease, but that wasn't the cause. So okay, so I'm gonna show you guys about posting stuff. I wonder, can I post something from the internet like this, or does it have to be on the... I've got a picture that I can post. You can? What, really? I thought you just upload it from here somewhere on the site. I'm on my page. See? I'm on the page, and I don't see an option to post something. This is it. I'm at it. I'm on it. Log out or cancel. Yeah, I don't see how you can post on that way. Okay, so maybe what I'll do is I'll see if I can do this. This will be kind of a weird way to do this, but yeah. So, what's that? I've got a picture of you. I don't know. That's me standing there right now. Okay, so I'm going to show you here. Okay, it's kind of backwards, but there you go. So this is my Instagram profile. So if I want to post something, I go down here to this little square with a plus in it, tap that, and it'll show like the most recent picture. I'm going to pick, let's see, maybe picture of the horse. Try to get a good picture of the horse. Does that picture look good? maybe this one. Does that one look good there? All right. So I can pick that picture, and I can say, okay, let's do. So I can make it bigger, smaller, whatever. Zoom in on certain areas, and I can go next, and then it gives me the option to put a filter, like, like I can make it like gray, or do that or something. Actually, I think no filter is good on that one, except down here you can hit edit right here, and it brings up these options. And so you can you can adjust it and crop it and stuff, or you can change the contrast, the warmth, saturation, color, fade, highlights, shadows. This tilt shift is a useful thing here. See, it says tilt shift there. And then welcome. So I do the radial tilt shift right there, and you can actually zoom, like fog out the rest there. To see how that fogged out the rest. And then you can say done. I'll say next, and I'll just post Danny Boy. And I'll post it and you can see it on the screen. Oh, well, I'll show you some options here. You can tag people. So I can like tag my friends or whatever. You can add a location, and you can post it on Facebook or Twitter or any of these other social media platforms there at the same time that you post it. So like when you go to post it, you can say, I want to show it on Facebook, and you can post it on Facebook. I'm not going to post it anywhere except Instagram so you guys can see it. I hit share, then I go back over here. There's the picture of the horse. So it doesn't look too good where it's sitting on the screen. I wish I could scroll down, but it doesn't let me. But anyways, as you see, what I did was I fogged all of this and just kind of kept that so that his face is the focal point, and just kind of fogged the rest. That's kind of the idea. You can do some doctoring of the photos if you want, but some of them you can like just take a good picture, and let it be what it is. So anyway, so Instagram, that's kind of what Instagram is for. You can post pictures. I post verses a lot of times. You can also do short videos on Instagram. What is it, like 10 seconds or something that they give you? Let's see. Video. Okay. You can do a video. Ryan over there. Yeah, my camera's crashing. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, so yeah, you can do a video, I think, of 10, 15 seconds or something like that. People do videos like that sometimes. Like Greg Locke does videos like that where he'll do a quick little whatever. Like he'll do oh, my camera's on. Let me shut that off. What's that? It is similar to Vine, and that's part of the reason that Vine like quit, is because other people were using other stuff like Instagram and Snapchat. I'm gonna mention Snapchat right now. We're not gonna go on there because I've got to find a way before I mess with Snapchat again. Their featured stories are garbage, and I don't know how you can get rid of them. I've got to figure out how to get rid of them. You can't ignore them. You can't get rid of them. They're just always there, and I don't want to put that up on the screen here because they're featured. Like I said, it's garbage. They'll have stuff, whatever Beyonce just posted about her immodest, whatever, and so it's garbage, and so that's one right now. That's one social media thing that I advise against until they fix that, because I don't know. I've got one too, but I haven't. I get on there sometimes to do those little funny videos, you know, where it does like the little filters and they'll put a hat on your head or whatever, you know. But like I'll goof around with the kids. But I have another app for that, and it's not a social media app. It's called like Helium Booth or something, and it's got a ton of options. It's kind of funny, but anyways, as far as social media goes, let's see. We talked about. I want to do a quick recap because maybe I'll be done. Well, we still need to talk about YouTube, and that's YouTube's been the most useful social media platform that I've ever had, really. Because we do our messages and stuff on there, and so Facebook. Well, it's a quick, it's a close like first place between close competition between Facebook and YouTube because I use Facebook a lot for ministry. But we talked about Facebook, we talked about Twitter, we talked about Instagram and Snapchat. We talked about Vine. We could talk about Pinterest. Google Plus is like Facebook, Google style. In order to cover that, we'd have to have probably a few week session on godly scriptural music first. Because I would make a lot of statements that to some people they'd be like, what? And, you know, so you kind of have to lay the foundation to be able to talk about some of that stuff. So, right. I want to say on any social media, whether you're talking about Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, Vimeo, Vine, Pinterest, Google Plus, Reddit, Tumblr, Periscope, Stumble Upon, Skype, whatever it is, be careful. And I recommend on YouTube to have your default setting as strict, restricted, because, and now the downside to that is a lot of my videos that I post, even messages, will be restricted. I didn't say anything that should be restricted, but for some reason, sometimes it'll get restricted. So, in a case where you want to watch a video or something and it's restricted because of that, and you know that the video is okay, then you unrestrict just for the time that you're going to watch the video, and then re-restrict afterwards. But like, there's several of my little skit videos that are restricted because of violence or whatever, you know. And I'm like, there's no real violence. I mean, I don't know. There's a few of them that are restricted. The one internet safety video has violence with my son hitting the guy in the head with the little purple baseball bat thing. But anyways, that's like, I don't know. But and then there's some stuff that still gets through when you have it on restricted. So one of those things, you gotta just, whatever you're doing, you gotta watch it. The ads, you can actually change your ad settings if you have a Google account. You can go in and change your settings so that you don't see certain types of ads, and so that's all like customizable and stuff. Because and here's the other thing too, ads are supposed to, the way that the internet ads work is they're supposed to be tailored to your interests. And so if you're getting a bunch of ads that are not tailored to your interests, or they're not godly ads, just like on Facebook, it's easy. You just say, this doesn't interest me. And they'll stop giving you ads like that. And so you just, if you keep doing that, then they'll take you out of that category and you won't get ads like that. And that's the idea, you know, because back when Facebook started and other social media platforms started, you know, people would say, oh, I can't get on, you shouldn't get on social media because you can't control the ads and you get all this stuff and all this garbage you have to see. Well, I agree, but now they've tailored it, and that's actually better for the advertiser, because if you're seeing stuff that you're never going to buy, you're never going to click on, it doesn't interest you, there's really no purpose for them having the ad there. Why would they want to pay to show people that aren't interested in their products? And so these social media platforms have gotten better at finding the right people to show the ads to. So like if you're going to put an ad on there for, whatever you're trying to sell, or you're trying to sell hoverboards or something, and you want, you're not going to try to, generally speaking, you're not going to try to advertise to retired people. Although you may want to advertise to retired people during the Christmas season because they may want to buy for their grandchildren. So but all of those things go into effect on this advertising stuff. And again, like I said in the very first lesson on social media, the purpose of social media, as we all think about the purpose, we all think, oh, the social media is so that we can share our memories and share what's going on in our lives with our friends and family and stuff. No. The reason that the companies that made the social media made those sites is so that they can farm you for sales. That's what it is. The purpose for that stuff is so that they can have a tailored advertising campaign for other companies that they can sell to those companies and make money off of. And so that's what Facebook does. It's what Instagram does. Instagram, by the way, you'll find that there are sponsored photos that'll pop up in your feed. And you can ignore them, or you can say, I'm not interested in this, but they do that. Then, and that's the other thing with Snapchat. They have those, the featured page, which is stuff that they're paying for. But you can actually, I don't know, they don't give you the option on the app to say, I don't like this. So Snapchat hasn't quite got the thing down as far as the advertising goes. That advertising can be very useful. And we've used it to advertise for the church in the past as well. And for ministry things, I've used it to advertise for business, where, say, I'm looking for a certain demographic, or a certain area. Like a lot of times I'll be on Facebook and it'll say, hey, boost this ad, or boost this photo or this post, because it'll say, there's 70,000 people or whatever within a certain radius of you that you could show this to, that would see it and all that. So I've done that in the past, and I've done that with videos as well. And so, like it'll say for $5, such and such, whatever. And so I had one that got like a whole bunch of attention. And the idea is just to bring attention back to what we're doing for the Lord here, so that maybe we can help more people. And but as far as business or whatever, say I'm trying to market a network marketing opportunity that I have or something, then I might use that and say, okay, the demographics for this particular type of network marketing may be across the board, but for a particular advertising campaign, I may want to target those from 21 to 36 or something, and then and maybe it's like Mary Kay or something, and so I want to target. Of course, I wouldn't be selling Mary Kay, but Wyatt does. But say we want to set up a campaign for her, and it's targeting ladies from early 20s to whatever 60s or whatever. But you can target particular gender and age and location, and then you can also say interests, because it watches what you're interested in. And you can say if they're interested in this kind of stuff, if they've searched for this kind of stuff, and those ads will only show up for those people that you're trying to reach. And so on the flip side of that, for those of us that are the consumers, we should only be seeing ads that we're interested in. And if we're not, just say you're not interested, and you'll stop seeing it. Yes, sir. You actually can't do that. They'll always have an ad for you. Now, you can say, you can put a filter. No, but you can do a filter. Like there's filters you can have added, or what do they call that? Not a filter, but on your browser, an add-on on the browser, or something like that, where it actually will filter out ads. The problem is when you do that, those filters aren't very good, and so sometimes they filter out stuff that you don't want them to filter out. And so there's, so it's a delicate balance. I used to have that back before Facebook had the option to customize the ads, and so I wouldn't see any of the ads because that filter would be there. eventually they were able to customize the ads, and I was like, I don't care, you know, I don't get beer ads anymore. I don't get porn ads anymore. None of that kind of stuff, because this stuff, I'm not interested in that stuff. And I just tell them. Well, I say that. They don't have those kind of ads on Facebook, technically. But there are ads that are what we would consider quote unquote soft porn, where it's like they'll have ads that are for dating sites, and it'll have a picture of someone dressed immodestly. You know, that I would consider a porn ad. And I don't get those because I'm not interested in dating sites, and so I don't get dating site ads, and I don't get ads for vacation stuff, because of a lot of times you see a beach with people like not completely nude, but practically nude. You know, they're just wearing underwear, you know, and swimsuits, whatever, but it's immodest, and so I just say, not interested in that. So I don't get those kind of ads. Now, sometimes you'll get an ad campaign that'll come through, and you'll start seeing stuff that you haven't seen in a long time. You're like, still not interested, and then it'll go away and be gone for a while. So, not saying it's, you know, perfect, but generally speaking, that's the way it's supposed to work. So, any other questions, comments, thoughts on any of that? Yes, sir. There's a couple I've never heard of either. I just wrote them down because other people said them. So, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, which are the ones that we've dealt with so far. YouTube, which is probably what we'll deal with next week. Snapchat, which is similar to Instagram. We kind of talked about that a little bit today. Vimeo. Vimeo is like a YouTube alternative, and I think they don't have ads, I don't think. Or maybe they do have ads, but they also have a subscription service, something like that. So some people really only use Vimeo because they don't like YouTube. But again, my opinion of YouTube is very similar to Facebook. You can tailor the ads. I can actually say what kind of ads I don't want showing, and as long as the person viewing the video is not interested in that type of thing, then they shouldn't be getting those ads. So, and then Pinterest. We might spend some time talking about Pinterest. Pinterest is a useful. Oh yeah, arts and crafts and all kinds of stuff like that. Yeah. Oh yeah, Pinterest is really useful a lot of times, and then there's other stuff too. Sometimes I'll go on Pinterest and read funny stuff or whatever, Christian jokes or something, you know. But then there's Google Plus. It's basically Google's version of Facebook. Reddit is kind of a forum type, and then Tumblr, I think, is kind of also a forum. Or no, Tumblr I think is more of a photo thing, isn't it? Kind of like Pinterest. Okay. Periscope, I've never heard of. Somebody brought it up. Was it you said Periscope? Periscope, Laban? Okay. What's Periscope? Oh. Okay. Well, then there's Stumble Upon, and that's kind of like you found it's kind of like a feed kind of thing. Like Stumble Upon, I think, the way I understand it, it's kind of like you found a cool website or an article or something, and you save it on your Stumble Upon thing, and so people that care about what you care about, they see your stuff. And oh, okay. So it's like random. Okay. I'd be careful about that, because you never know what you might see. When you never know what you might see something you shouldn't see. I don't know, though. I've never been on there, so we're not going to cover that in our session. Okay. Then there's Skype, your person-to-person stuff, you know, Skype, Marco Polo, you know, email, text messaging, all that kind of stuff, you know, your person-to-person type stuff. Now you can do multi, like a conference Skype. You can do that. You can do that with Marco Polo also. Then there's other things. There's all kinds of when you start getting into person-to-person stuff. There's a bunch of stuff you can talk about. Person-to-person stuff you can talk about. Text messaging, Facebook Messenger, instant messaging, AOL Instant Messenger, and all that kind of stuff. You can get into all that. So, any other questions, thoughts, comments, anything?